stabilize the low back, the hips, the pelvis area. It occurred to me that everything I teach to keep the low back from being so sore or to keep our low back protected is flat on the back. And because we don't do that on the chair, I thought, well, let's try if we take something behind us. In this case, it's a box that has a towel wrapped around it, but you could use a block. You could take a pillow or, a blanket that's folded up behind you, or you can use a pillow that's kind of, a couple of inches thick. So we're going to do this as an option to notice how we work. How do we move when we do our movements through our body? Are we putting too much pressure in the wrong places? Okay, so go ahead and find that if you'd like, and if you don't like to, I'll just give you some alternate ways to practice the same thing. So I've got one more person joining, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and put everybody on mute. Okay, all right, so we're gonna start by having that behind you. And actually pressing your low back into it. Now you may have a chair that has that lumbar support already. And in that case, you don't even need the pillow. But if you find that as you push back in your chair, you need to bring up the pillow a little higher, you can. And you might find that it feels better for it to come just above into that lumbar area, right? And this is really why they provide that lumbar support in our cars and so many of the chairs that we have. Now, as you kind of press back, notice how your back feels. Good. And let the shoulders roll up and back and down a few times. Morning, Sylvia and Dan. Good. And release down. So in this case, this pillow is a little thin, so I'm going to switch to a block because I really want to feel the back pressing into the chair. Now, low back issues are the most common things I hear as far as problems in the body. So I'm going to address that here by noticing how it feels when we push back into that chair. If you notice that maybe when you really reach your tailbone down and press your back into whatever you've picked, you're going to actually automatically engage your core, okay? So we'll just take a few breaths right here. Take an inhale, slow, and exhale, slow. I'm going to take 3 more. And I'm sorry if you hear snoring, that's Lulu. Bringing ourselves and our awareness into our bodies, into our space. Good. Gently coming back to a natural breath and open the eyes. Good. So I don't know if you feel something different simply by having that thing behind you, but we're going to observe how it feels that if we continue to press our low back into the chair and we take a little lean to the right, we may not go as far as we normally do, but maybe that's a good thing. It makes us stay focused on the part of the body that's able to move, right? And then back up to center and over to the left. So try that a couple times. I've got one more person joining the call. Continuing to press into that space as we find the side bend. And remember, you can always start to take the arm up and over. Good. And other side. Good morning, Christine. Good. Up and over. And other side. Good. So all we're doing is keeping this part of our body stable and still. And that changes where we might feel the pose, right? All right. And then as we take our hands across the chest, we can take those twists and then just notice if we can keep the twisting movement just to the upper body and the lower body stays in place. So to the right for a bit and then to the left for a bit. Good. And then back to center. Good. All right, and let's just swing the arms back and forward a few times. Noticing how the arms and shoulders feel today. I've got a really interesting thing I was trying to do the other day, and it has nothing to do with the low back. But if you bring your arms into your cactus, and then just notice if you try to bring the palms down, what happens. So we come to cactus and then palms down. Good. Some of you can even bring your hand, like they call it scarecrow. I can do one side but not the other, right? And then scarecrow, scarecrow, right? Good. I've got such limited mobility in this shoulder that it's interesting to watch. All right, relax the arms, give yourself a hug again, rock side to side. All right, so I thought that was such an interesting thing. I didn't even realize I still have this issue with my shoulder until we did that. All right, so if you're just joining the call, I have a block, or you can take a pillow behind your back, okay? And we're gonna use this to find a little bit of low back work. So we're gonna work and support it at the same time. All right, so I gotta lean over here. Okay, now, with our hands on our thighs, see if you can continue to push into the block and find some circles. It may not be as big as the circles we normally do. If you're taking care of a sore back, this is a great option. Continue to push into that and then reverse. Good. And then come back to center. Good. All right. And then let's see if we can do right leg up. You might have to hold the back of the thigh rather than the front of the knee. So you try it and see what you can do. And we're continuing to press that low back into the block or the pillow, whatever we have. Go ahead and point and flex the toes on the right foot. Good. And then circle the ankle out. Circle other direction. And then the leg, you can maybe just use the right arm as we rock the leg in and out. So we do these poses all the time, but I just want you to notice that the sensation may be different when we have that focus on the low back. All right, and then kicking it out a few times. Good. Bring the leg down, stretch, shake it out a little bit. Good. Before we come to the other side, keep your hands on your thighs, lengthen your spine, but continue to press into your low back. And then just see how far forward you can come without your low back coming away from the block. It's not too far. As soon as you round, you've kind of moved away, you've lost the connection, right? So I like to try and keep it just a little bit forward. Good. And we can do a gentle push up and a gentle down. Push up, use your arm strength, and then back down. Good, one more. So I thought we were a little gentle today, but I have a couple that are a little stronger in a bit. All right. And then left knee comes up. Again, holding the back of the thigh or the front of the thigh. We're still pressing into the right foot and pressing into the block, and then pointing and flexing through the ankle. Good, and then rotating the ankle. There you are. Figured it out. Rotate other direction. Use the left hand to let the knee come in and out. Good, and as we hold the back of the thigh, we'll do a few soccer kicks. Good, bring the leg down, shake it out. Good. All right, now, if you take that block and move it out, let's go ahead and place it, or your pillow, whatever it is, place it on your lap. And then find that circular movement. See how it changes. We now can move our pelvis a little more freely. But I want you to be aware that if you're having sore back issues, it's a really good idea to keep the pelvis more neutral, keep the pelvis still, and do most of the work in the upper back area, okay? Just so be aware of that. And we're gonna continue to play with this. All right. And then let's do right ear, right shoulder. Good. Left ear, left shoulder. Good. Head to neutral. Good. Chin to chest. And then take chin right and left. Stretching the back of the neck. Maybe we start to go a little more toward the shoulders as we take that chin off to the side, depending on how your neck feels. And then coming back to neutral, look to the right. Good. And then turn your head to the left. As we come back to center, you can take some circles. Good, and then reverse. Nice job. Okay, now we're going to take that same block, book, pillow, blanket, and bring it between the thighs. And as we scoot towards the front of the chair or back away from the chair, think about your back pressing still. Notice the difference between arching the back or pressing the low back down as if you were still pushing into that block. That's where we're going to stay stable through our hips, and that's what's going to help us. So the block or the pillow comes between the thighs and you squeeze in. Now you've added the inner thighs as part of your strength, right? So hands can stay on the thighs, and we're just going to lean forward and then push back away. So we're doing some push-ups, but we're using the hands and the belly, the abdominal muscles, to protect our low back. Good. Now, if you're starting to feel that you're sore here, then just stay with this variation. If you feel like you can go further, you can take right arm forward. Good. And then pull back. We did this push and pull thing on our last class on Monday. Good. Push and pull. Good. Switch hands, left arm forward, lean forward, pull back. Good. Two more. Push and pull. Push and pull. Good. Now bring the hands to heart. Remember that if you have a sore back, hands on thighs is better. If you're okay, you can bring hands to heart and then take a little lean forward. So this is where we're actually starting to work through the low back, but if we keep squeezing the thighs together, we're going to put some more of the work into the hips. And let's take a little twist over to the left. Back through center, a little twist to the left. Right. Good. Back to center. Beautiful. Hands to thighs and come back up. Beautiful. Now remove the block. Set it off to the side, the pillow, the block, whatever you have. And we're just going to do a little windshield wiper movement. I sometimes like to do just one leg at a time because you can really feel that movement in the leg without having to shift your pelvis, and then just the other leg. Sometimes kind of makes it a little bit more targeted, right? All right, so now, if you're taking care of a sore back, then, be really cautious of this. We're going to add that same push and pull movement. So hands are on thighs, your belly's drawn in, tailbone reaching down. Imagine you're pushing back into that block. Good. And then as we lean forward, maybe both arms. Good. So both arms push out, belly pulls in, and then inhale, pull back. Good. Push out, pull back. Option to add right leg extending, heel down as we push out and pull back. And then left leg. Push out, pull back. So heel down or leg extended. And then pull back. And then forward. Oops, it's hard. I've got a wrong angle on this chair, and pull back. And we'll just take one more round. You pick any variation you want, pull back. And last one. Beautiful. So we pull back, hands to heart, a little forward fold, not forward fold, but chair pose. And then a twist to the right. And center, twist to left. Good, come back to center, bring your hands to your thighs, come back to upright. Ooh, wiggle things out a little bit. Nice. So this has all been focused more on our core, our abdominal muscles, and our back movement. Okay, let's see. And then from this position, let's go ahead and take feet wide, knees out, knees over ankles. Good, and then tailbone reaching down, arms into our goddess pose. Beautiful. All right, let's do elbows coming towards each other, palms coming towards each other. Inhale, open, and exhale, close. Good, inhale, open, exhale, close. Good, last time. Now, as our elbows come together, right goes over left. And you can do hands to shoulders, hands back to back, or hands wrapping, okay? So relax the shoulders down. If your hands are on your shoulders, that's fine, but relax the shoulders away from the ears, but lift the elbows. See how that feels. Lengthen up through your spine, noticing the variation in this pose. Good, and then inhale, open out the arms wide, flap your arms. Come right back into our cactus. Beautiful. Let's do our scarecrow again. So if you can bring one arm up, one arm down. This one looks more like Robbie the Robot on Lost in Space. Anybody remember that? All right, Danger Will Robinson. Give yourself a hug, roll out the shoulders. I know, I'm goofy. I love Lost in Space. All right, elbows out. Left on top of right. Again, hug, back to back, or wrapping the palms. Wherever you are, relax your shoulders away from your ears, but lift your elbows. Belly's pulling back, and the elbows are reaching forward. So just noticing how that feels. Breathe. And then when you're ready, open out the arms wide, flap the wings. Good. Hands on thighs. How hard were you working through the thighs through that? You may not have been doing much, or you could really feel everything drawing in as if your thighs are coming closer towards each other. All right, let's take a little break and grab some water. I know I'm thirsty. It's a good time to take a little break and to check in. A lot of stuff here. How's everybody feeling so far? Feeling all right? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Yeah. So if you joined a little bit late, we were working on the low back and how we can support our low back by taking a pillow or a block behind us. We also used it between the thighs. And what that does is it really gives us something to push into. So if any of you have taken, and a few of you have taken my mat classes, you know that we do a lot of work on the back for the low back. And I think that it's just really a good way to notice how you move. So if I have a sore back, it's one of two things. I've either spent too much time doing big back bends that weren't done properly, or I spent too much time watching TV like this. And that puts a lot of pressure on your low back. So, and yes, I do have bad habits too. So I work at it, but then I'm sometimes get really lazy. All right, now we won't need the block for this part. We're gonna take the feet wide. I'm gonna give everybody a chance to kind of settle in. So do a little wiggle side to side. Notice how your pelvis moves when we do that. So you'll feel left hip, left side down more, and then right side down. And just to give it an awareness. Now, can you tilt back and forward? So it's almost like you're trying to tuck underneath and then tilt it back. Tuck, tilt. Good. All right, and so that's our pelvic movement. Our pelvis is able to go right, left, forward, and back. And we can kind of make a big circle with just our pelvis. All right, we can make just the pelvis do that and then reverse the circle. I'm sorry, we were just kind of playing. Didn't mean to leave anybody out. And now can we keep the pelvis neutral? So tailbone pointing down, lower belly lifted, and bring our hands to the ribs and see if we can make just the ribs move. It's a little trickier and there's a little less range of movement. So you're kind of shifting your ribs to the right and then forward and left and back. It's still a little bit of pelvic movement, but we're going to try and focus it in the ribs. It's almost like if you were a belly dancer, you could do this, chest movement, right? Good. All right, and then just wiggle everything out. Nice. So it's really cool because I've been working with all of you for a long time now, several years, that you can really start to isolate different parts of the body as we're moving through it. All right. I think most of you I've worked with for a good amount of time. We'll start to swing over to the right, finding your lunge. Remember, left knee can be pointed down, left knee can be forward, or left knee can reach back. Observe that if you reach your leg back, you are now taking that low back into a different position. So you're finding a back bend, and if that doesn't feel good, I like knee down, tailbone reaching down. Imagining that you have that block behind you and you're pushing into it, okay? So this is my lunge variation when I'm having a sore back. Good. Hands are on the right thigh, and we can do push, lean down and then push up. So like push-ups. Push up. Beautiful. Then if you feel like you don't need the support of your hands, we can bring hands to heart and then lower and push up. Or come back to uprights. It's not really a push-up, it's more of a lean and a lift. Good. All right. And then we can push out and pull back. Push out, pull the belly in and pull back. Good, one more. Push out, pull back. Good, release. Good, you can rest here. Some of you liked the additional challenge of holding onto the chair and lifting yourself out of the chair. Or you can just rest. I know, it's always a little bit of a, I don't know if I'm gonna do this today, all right? All right, when you're ready, we'll come back to center, shake out the legs. And then wide leg, swing over to the left side. So I'm always trying to keep us, finding a little bit of challenge in our body, but also give yourself permission to know when something's not right for you. So adjusting where you need it to be. Remember, tailbones reaching down. Imagine that you're pushing back into that block. Good. And right knee can be facing down, further forward, or further back. I'm going to choose knee pointing down so that I can keep my pelvis in neutral here. All right, hands can go to the thigh. It can maybe just be your right hand, or it can be both. And we're just gonna come forward and then push back up. Bend, push, bend, push. So we're doing just a little bit of arm strength here. Then if you wanna add hands at heart, lean and come back up. Lean and up. If you wanna add the pushing movement with your hands, you're reaching forward at the same time as you're pushing out, and then inhale, pull back. Try that 2 more times. Exhale, push. Inhale, pull back. 1 more. Beautiful. Good. Let everything relax for a moment. And then if you want to try the more challenged variation, you can bring your hands to your chair and then just lift up out of the chair. And back down. And even if you're not able to do it, just imagine that you can. Just imagine you're about to get out of that chair. And that's still using the same muscles. Good. We'll come back to center. Shake things out a little bit. And then with the legs wide, If you're having any sore back issues, keep your hands on your thighs and just hinge forward a little bit. Enough to feel the back getting a little stretch. Maybe the elbows make it down. And I want you to notice, my back is neutral. My spine is in its natural position. As soon as I go into forward fold, I've gone into a rounding, which may or may not feel good for you. So you choose whichever variation you like. If I have a sore back, I usually just do halfway into this huddle. Good. If you like bigger forward fold, you're welcome to bring, your hands to your ankles, head hang down. And just pausing here, take a few rounds of breath, noticing how it feels to be in your forward fold. Good. And then slowly bringing the hands to the thighs. If you've gone away from that and pressing yourself back up to seated. Nice job, everybody. Good. All right, and we'll just take arms and reach up. Remember, you can always keep hands to shoulders if your shoulders need it, and just lengthen the spine a little bit longer. Reaching up, a little right and left. Good. Take a deep breath and let it go with a big sigh. Yeah, that feels good. All right, nice job. Oh, how pretty. Beautiful kitty cat. All right, Sylvia and Dan have their kitty cat today. All right, sit back in your chair. Notice again how it feels. Remember, if you had a pillow or block, you can certainly do that now. I happen to have a little lumbar support in my chair, and it feels pretty good to lean back on that. Right? All right. Now from this position, we can take goddess pose with just the arms, cactus arms, right? And lean back. Maybe the elbows reach back. So this is a back bend that's supported by the chair. Maybe the head stays down, or maybe you let your head, your gaze lift up and drop the head back a little. Don't drop all the way back. Good, and then come back to upright. Now, if you have the block behind you, and you may have already had it, you might find that you're going to get a different sensation. So I'm going to take the block and bring it just a little higher. Instead of down here, I'm going to bring it just above my glutes, my tush. And now, I don't know, maybe that doesn't feel so good. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit more. All right. And then if you want, see if that works. Maybe in this case, the pillow works better than the block. So kind of just bring elbows back, gently look up. Good. In this case, my back doesn't actually, my shoulders don't touch the chair, but it's still supported back bend. Good. And then come back to neutral. Good. Whew. Nice job. All right. Let's take another water break. Take things and notice how everything's feeling. I'm going to give you a little Lulu shot. Lulu's taking a nap right here. She's the one that's snoring. So she's going to hang out with us today. But suppose that's, it just seems surprising that she's not actually moving around. Whoops, now I messed up my camera. All right, so if you're ready, we're going to make our way to standing. Sorry about that, everybody. Sometimes my camera doesn't work the way I'd like it to. So if you'd like, we're going to make our way to standing. If not, stay seated and do the upper body parts. And we're going to play with that same idea of tailbone reaching down, little bend in the knees, lower belly lifting, just as if we were pushing into that block. All right, and so we're standing at first when we do that. And then from that nice firm center of our pelvis and our abdominal, then we can shift hips right and left, right and left. Good. And then we can go forward and around. So take a few circles around And then reverse. Good. I hope that you notice that with this emphasis on what's happening here, that maybe some of the poses feel just a little different than they normally do in your body. We all have certain habits, and I think we kind of have to pay attention to those habits if they're not working for us, right? All right, and then let's just rock through the feet, lifting the toes and then lifting the heels. If you need to hold on to your chair for some support, you can do that. And that's what I'm doing. All right. And then with feet, knees and hips lined up, shoulders are over the hips, ears are over the shoulders. Find our mountain. Good. And we'll take a few big circles with the arms. So inhale, arms sweep out and up, only to the height that your shoulder's comfortable with. And then exhale, float the arms back down. Turn the palms back out. Good, 2 more. Inhale, reach up. Good, and exhale, back down. Good. This time as we come up, we're gonna start to find a side bend. So right hand to the right thigh and left arm up and over. Good. Imagining still that we're pressing the low back into a block so that we're not really arching through there. Good, and then inhale, back up to center, left hand, left thigh, leaning over to that left side, pressing out through the right hip, but the tailbone is still reaching down. Good, and then inhale up and exhale, release. Beautiful, roll out the shoulders. Good. And then take the toes a little bit out and then just a little swing, right and left. Good. Okay. Now, if we take a second variation of that, we just did like a part of a sun salutation with the arms sweeping. We're going to add a little bit to that one. So bend the knees and bring your hands to your thighs. Let the tailbone reach back. So this is like chair, except that we have our hands on our thighs as support. So it's almost like a half forward fold from there. All right, so this is our chair pose. We can bring our elbows into goddess pose, and that's more work. This is a little easier, okay? So goddess or hands to thighs. Good, beautiful, and then come the rest of the way up. All right, so let's put this together. So we're gonna inhale, reach up. Good, exhale, bend your elbows into goddess, bend your knee, lean forward. Beautiful, so we're in a halfway position, hands to thighs. And you can stay here or you can fold a little further or bring your hands down a little further. Good, and then halfway back up again. Good, and then elbows to cactus, coming up. Beautiful. If you'd like, you can even bring the elbows down and back and lift your heart, finding a little bit of a back bend in the upper back. Beautiful, and then release. All right, so let's see if we can start to make that a little bit of a flow. So inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, cactus arms, bend the knees, hinge halfway forward, chair pose with cactus arms. Beautiful. Hands to thighs. Good. Maybe forward fold, hands on thighs, or maybe hands to shins. And then hands back to thighs as we come to halfway. Back to cactus arms, the rest of the way up. Chest lifts. Good. And then hands to heart. Nice. It's just a little different variation of it. Last one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus arms, bend the knees, hinge at the hips. Beautiful. There. And then forward fold, hands to thighs. Deciding maybe huddle pose or hands to shins, and then back to halfway, back to goddess. Back to cactus arms, and then up. Beautiful. A little back bend. So tailbone reaches down, chest lifts up. Good. And then release. Nice job. Hands to heart. Beautiful. Close your eyes for a moment and just notice how it feels to have after we've done those different movements today. Good. When you're ready, release. Let's just do a little march. How does it feel to lift one leg and then the other? Good. Yeah, I just have so many people that tell me about back problems, and I have them too periodically. So I thought, let's address how we can work through that area. Okay, now we're going to try our warrior one. So from your standing position, step back with just your right foot. It doesn't have to be a big step, but you will angle that back so that the toes out diagonally, and then the left knee bends. So it looks something like this. You can do a very small one. You can do a bigger one. Now, if you have low back issues, you're going to hinge so that your body is in line with that leg. See how my head to my leg is at the same angle? Because what happens when you bring your torso up, we're now in a back bend. So if you like the back bend, feel free. All right, so let's play with that. All right, so we're going to start with warrior one. Right leg steps back, left knee bends. Belly's drawn in, tailbone reaching down. Hands can be on that left thigh. Good. And then we're going to see push forward, pull back with just the right arm. Or if you want to add, both arms push forward and both arms pull back. And we're just going to take two more. Push, pull. If you want to start to bring the torso upright, you can. It's a little bit of a back bend. Exhale, push. Inhale, pull. Beautiful. Bring both hands back to that right thigh. Straighten the right leg. And then if you can, we're just finding a little bit of a half forward fold in this position so that we're really kind of getting into the hamstrings. So you can stay there. Some of you can reach your calf. Some of you can reach your ankle. Good. Noticing the balance between both feet. And then bring your hands both to your hips and come back to upright. Step the back foot forward. Good. A little march. So this is another way that we can work to release pressure in the low back is just by hugging one knee in and then the other, even if you need to hold on to a wall or chair. It really kind of releases some tension in the hips. All right. Other side. Mountain pose. Left foot steps back. Pull the foot so that it's flat, bend the right knee. Again, hinge forward, leaning forward if you're really trying to take care of a sore back. All right, so from that position, we can bring both hands to the front thigh. And just noticing all the work that's happening. Or we can start to take the left arm forward and then pull it back. Push, pull. Both arms if you want. Pull back, push forward. Beautiful, one more round. Push, good. Whew. When you had enough, bring your hands to that right thigh or the hips and straighten the right leg. Good, we may be hinging into a half of a forward fold or a little further if anybody wants to go hands towards their calf or their ankle. I'm gonna keep my hands right at my hips because it keeps me from going too far. Good. When you're ready, start to bring your torso up, bending that front knee, step the back foot forward. Nice. Good job. And let's release any way you want to. You can do a march, you can do a swing. It could be a little teapot. I think we need to do that teapot. We haven't done the teapot balance in a very long, long time. I almost forgot about it. Does anybody remember it? It's been a really long time, like years probably since I did it. So the teapot is one hand on the hip. So let's do right hand on the hip. And this is the spout, right? And all we're going to do is try to pour it out by leaning. Maybe the toe stays down. Good. And then come back down. That's a good one. Let's try it a couple times on one side. It's our teapot. All right. I haven't done that one in a long, long time. All right. Other side. There's my spout. Here's my handle. And tip me over, pour me out. Whoa, this side may be different. And then back. And one more time. I love this. I should take a picture of all of you. It's so good. Good, come back. Whew, good job, everybody. All right, we can make our way back to our chairs and maybe grab a drink of water if you'd like. I haven't done that teapot forever. I don't even know why I thought about it all of a sudden. Okay, sit all the way back in your chair, press into the back of your chair. Feel free to add the pillow if you want to. We're gonna do a little bit of things away from the core for a minute, give ourselves a break. If you've been doing a lot of back and core work, it might feel good to just rest into the chair. Good. And then with the hands on the thighs, we can simply lift the fingers away, keeping the hands down. Good. And then bring the fingers down and lift the heels of the hands. So we're kind of just alternating, stretching the fingers a little bit. Good. And now turn the palms up, bring the backs of your hands to your thighs. And then we're just finding a little stretch on the backs of the hands there. Good. I would normally have us leaning forward, but I'm just going to keep us sitting back so we don't have to put any weight on our back. All right. And then curling the fingers up into a little fist and observing how that feels, because the backs of the hands are pressing into the thighs. You might feel it all the way up into the forearms. Good. And let's just shake out the hands and clasp the hands together. Good. Let's see if we can keep the palms, the heel of the hands touching and the palms touching, and make a circle, almost like a figure 8. It's a little weird, I know. And then let the elbows come up and let the shoulders get involved in that movement. I know, it's really weird stuff. All right. And then release, spread the fingers wide. Good. Clasp the hands with the opposite hand on top, whichever way that feels weird for you. And then we're going to do the same thing, just the wrists at first. And actually, if it feels normal to go one direction, try to do the abnormal way. Okay? And then elbows lift, get the shoulders involved. We're just getting silly. Good. And then arms back, fingers spread wide. Noticing how that feels. Good. And release the arms down. Good. Shake out the hands again. All right. Okay, so we've got some arm stuff done. Let's go ahead and do our twist. So let's do the one with the hug, and then twist to your right, look behind you. And if you're leaning back or pushing back into your chair, you might find that it's not a deep twist. Back to center, and then twist to the left, look to the left, and look slightly down. Good. One more time, each direction. Good. Come back to center. Another thing that can happen if you do deep twists too much is that can also trigger some tension in your hips and low back. So I know a lot of us love twisting movements, but be aware that if you overdo it, you can also create some tension in your low back there. So I like these gentle twists because that controls how far you go. All right. Now, one last thing I want to do is, if you want, you can bring your block, your pillow, your whatever to the ground. And we're going to make a butterfly. So feet are together, knees are open. Now, if your chair's too high for this, it's okay. It may not work for you today. You might try it later on a lower chair. And this helps in a chair. The only way we can really get here very easily is to have something underneath that brings our feet up a little closer to our groin. So keep the nice long spine. Reach your tailbone down, lift your low belly, and let the legs relax. And just notice how that feels. Good. This is a very comfortable pose when you're on your back. So try that when you're in bed sometimes. Just bring your feet together and open out the knees. Good. You can stay here. Some of you may want to hold the back of the chair and then find just a little hinge forward. Always using your abdominal muscles. Maybe the head relaxes here. Shoulders are down and back, down your back. Good. Bending your elbows, come back to upright. Good. You can come off of the block. And let's find a little side bend. So right elbow can come down, left hand can come to shoulder. Maybe we find this enough, or if you want more, you can reach that left arm up and over. Take a couple of breaths here. Good, and then come back to upright. Good. And we'll go opposite side. So left hand or left forearm to the elbow, to the thigh, right hand to shoulder. Maybe this is enough. Maybe you take your right arm up and over. Good. And then coming back up. Start to hinge forward. Again, keeping the spine nice and long, tailbone reaching down. Then you can find a little bit of a twist with the right elbow or right shoulder reaching toward the left. Is pulling back. Good. And then other direction. You might think of this as like our cat pose, but we're only doing it in a little bit of a twisted version. So for now. And that just reminded me we haven't done cat-cow. All right, so from the center, go ahead and roll both shoulders forward, pull the belly back, tuck the chin. So we're kind of coming into our cat pose here. And then as you're ready, shoulders down and back, chest forward, and you control how much your tailbone tilts back. If you have a sore back, don't do that. If you're okay, then go ahead and tilt it back. So we can come through that cat-cow a few times. Rounding and extending. Good. Exhale when you come through cat, and inhale when you come through cow. Good. Last one. Good. Come back to neutral spine. Good. And then we'll play with a little bit of balance, keeping that pelvis, keeping the pelvis neutral. Lift the right leg. And just notice how your weight might shift, but we're going to try and keep the right leg, right hip down. All right. And then left leg. So notice that a lot of times we do this, but we're going to try and keep both sits bones down. So right leg and left leg. And then we'll go ahead and let ourselves lean to the left as the right hip. Now you might need to hold on to your chair so you don't fall out of the chair. So this is balance for sure. Good. Nice. I would be mortified if anybody fell out of their chair while we were taking this class, because I couldn't be there to help you. All right, and bring it down. Good. Wiggle it out. Nice job, everybody. So it's a lot of stuff, I know, but I just really felt like this was something that was important today, because I've heard it 5 times this week somebody had back issues. So I just want you to know how to take care of your back and give it a break, or work it when you need it a little bit more. All right, so now we'll do one sun salutation, maybe 2. And keep that in mind. We always want to keep things nice and firm right through the center of our hips, our core, and our low back. All right, so find your seated mountain, sitting nice and tall. Good, and then with an inhale, we're bringing the arms up. Good, and exhale, cactus, belly draws in, and halfway forward. Good, inhaling here. Exhale, bring your hands to your thighs, slide it down. Again, you decide how far to go to forward fold. And then inhale halfway up. Good. I like to do the twist from halfway up, so you can take that right arm up as we twist, especially if you have a sore back, and then bring it down. And then a left arm up as we twist on the left side. Good. Hands back to thighs, coming back to upright. Inhale and exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus arms, lean halfway forward. Good. Take an extra breath here. And then forward fold with an exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Good. You can go back to forward fold, but I always like to come to halfway up before I twist to the right. Good, and release. You might find that you can do it from forward fold and then to the left and release. Reverse your swan dive, come on up. Good, and hands to heart. Beautiful, good job. Pause for a moment, notice how your shoulders feel, notice how your body feels. Close your eyes, take a few rounds of breath. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, release your hands to your thighs, and find your most comfortable position. So if you liked that pillow behind you, this is a great time for that. You can simply lean back in your chair. Maybe you want one more, just release by, kind of leaning back into a back bend on your chair. You can find any variation that you want right now. Give yourself a moment. Yeah, if you need some neck work, you can always do your little neck massage, use one hand. Yeah, support it, and the other one. I see a few of you that really liking the neck massage. You can always do that. And so just kind of noticing any part of the body that wants a little more love, feel free. Move the wrists around. Maybe move the ankles around. We didn't give a lot of attention to our feet today. So I hope that as we work together for a while, that you remember certain things, at least things that you can do anytime that you need them, and you don't always have to need me to guide you through, right? So that's my goal, is that you start to learn the practices that work for your body, okay? So as you're ready, we're just gonna find our comfortable position, take one more deep breath in through the nose, let it out with a big sigh. Good, close the eyes and let yourself really just relax here. Maybe leaning back, maybe letting the chair support you or that pillow. Feeling the thighs sinking into the chair. At first, maybe you observe the parts of your body that worked the most today. And it could be a little bit of tingling or blood flow happening there. But as we stay, maybe you start to let go of all of that effort and let yourself really begin to relax every muscle. Every effort in the face, the jaw, the shoulders, the back, the hips, the legs, down to the feet, the arms, down to the hands. Letting your mind stay in rest. Let the breath come to a natural movement. And just enjoy some peaceful time for a few more breaths. And very, very slowly, very gently, bring your awareness back to the body, back to your breath, and allow yourself to find the areas that are ready to move. So maybe it's fingers, maybe it's wrists, maybe the head's ready to move. Finding just gentle, soothing movement. As you're ready to take a deeper breath, take a nice and, deeper inhale, maybe reaching out through the arms, maybe stretching in any way that feels good. Good. And when you're ready, gently open the eyes. Good. Take one more deep inhale and a big exhale. Letting everything come back to a state of stillness and calmness. Bring the hands together in front of your heart. Good. So I hope that you can keep a sense of peace, but an energy that you can carry through your day. So hopefully this is a good balance for you and you can keep that with you. So I hope you enjoy your day. Stay cool. If you're in a hot climate, hope that air conditioning is working for you. The light in me sees and honors the beautiful light in each of you. Namaste.